everybody. Rusty Wallace for Win. Now, you know as well as I do that racing has always been dominated by men. Well, not completely. Back in the 50s and 60s, a woman named Denise McLuggage proved that she was good as anybody when she sat in the cockpit. But women in racing have always been the exception. They usually treat her like a novelty. There are 3 women in today's show that take issue with the condescending and the patronizing that sadly arise when there's a woman in a race car.
This is the true story.
True story
of 3 women who drive race cars.
Find out what happened
when they decided to bypass tradition
and choose life in the fast lane.
From Florida, California,
and Georgia,
we are
3 real women
of speed.
Well, hello there. How you doing? Y'all got here just in time for breakfast. Come on in.
Right now you're at my house. My name's Tammy Jo Kirk. We're in Dalton, Georgia. I'm 32 years old. I've been racing motorcycles ever since I was 9 years old. And when I was 2 weeks old, my dad would ride me around on his motorcycle on a pillow till I'd go to sleep. So I've been around, I guess you'd say, racing and motorcycles and just that all my life. So I guess I've been born and raised around it. So it comes natural to me.
That's my Harley Davidson that I raced the Camel Pro Series back in the late 80s. And well, that back there, I was the first woman to ever qualify for a national final in the AMA Dirt Track Series.
You're riding with Tammy Jo Kirk as she works underneath Rick Crawford. Takes the spot away.
Tammy Jo's on the move, I'll tell you. I am so impressed with Tammy Jo. She just drives that race car. I mean, you don't think woman, man.
Thank you. Absolutely my hero.
When I meet people who are not race fans, they're amazed that I don't have dirt under my fingernails and I don't chew tobacco. I mean, so that means they have a wrong image. If they met Rusty Wallace, if they met Daryl Earnhardt, if they met, those guys don't have dirt under their fingernails and don't chew tobacco either. So, I mean, there's the problem, is there's a big misconception in the global sense of the non-racing fan of what racing really is.
They go everywhere with us. These are our kids. She's potty trained, and which people can't believe. And the green one, well, he's just kind of dumb.
We're going to warm it up right away, too, as soon as I get done with the nitro. We're waiting on me.
A lot of people say I'm pretty intense at the racetrack. My family is. I mean, my brother and dad, whoa, major. Not always a shining personality, but I try and be a little nicer about it when I'm intense, but sometimes I'm not, and sometimes people will say, ooh.
As you can see, Shelly Anderson had a good run, qualifies her in the number 5 spot.
Great run. Fantastic.
These 3 women share what we all do, a love for racing. But you gotta ask, beyond that common love for speed, who are these people? Are they winners? See for yourself.
Win is presented to you by Allied Signal's Fram filter products. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Autolite spark plugs and wire and cable products. Autolite spark plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.
St. James, Anderson, and Kirk have 2 qualities absolutely critical to being successful: drive and determination. And these women are willing to back up this claim with the only thing that matters: results.
When I qualified 8th for it, not a real good, position. That meant I had to run Prudhomme, who qualified #1 for first round, and I just wanted to win first round. And when we won, and I never thought I'd run, set a national record. We were running good, but I never thought I'd run off 4:71. And all I cared when I won and I beat Prudhomme, I was like, and I get out, and Steve Evans said, "You ran a 4:71," and I went, wow.
Well, Shelly, I've obviously read a lot about, and because she has done some fantastic things in winning, and I was out at Pomona when she set that record at the end of the last season, so I was really excited.
Shelly Anderson, exploding an engine, cutting down a tire. She has got the car under control. Look at the concentration that Shelly Anderson has maintained with all of the problems she had when the engine let go. You saw the sparks come out of it. The NHRA safety safari on the scene. She is starting to climb out under her own power. Rance McDaniel went up in smoke. Shelly Anderson wins the title.
It was obviously a really bad wreck. I mean, it was the worst wreck I've ever had, and I hope it remains that. But I was so angry when that happened. The result of that was that it made me a better driver after that, because all the safety gear worked. I walked away from it. I was looking at 3 totally destroyed race cars, and all 3 drivers walked away from it. So it made me a better driver after that. It had an impact on my career, I think, as well. I think that in the minds of some of the corporate people and some of the executives that make the decisions about who drives their race cars, kind of all of a sudden, Lyn became really a real race car driver in their minds.
We picked you up for the airport the first time that I met you, and you had that big Indy ring. I remember I asked, what is that? You know, because I mean, I'm like, whoa, that's a big ring. And then she told me the whole story about her and racing.
When we first met, because it was like, we were in Panic City, you know, I mean, I could see her watching me, you know. I mean, she's like looking at my hands, and I think, God, I should have done a manicure. You know?
That was her first year that she had raced at Indy, and she was in Indianapolis Rookie of the Year and placed 11th, and so I thought that was pretty neat, and then she just told me a little bit about racing and stuff.
Racing, my career, my business, you know, the driver development program. I mean, the things that I passionately believe in are what I spend all my time in. And if I'm not doing them, I'm thinking about them and, you know, and strategizing and all of that. So there's not much, what you see is what I am.
You know, here's where, this is, I guess, is one of the most memorable moments right here is when, you know, last year in December the 4th, where I won the Snowball Derby. That's probably the biggest win. You know, I won a lot of races running motorcycles, but this one here really meant a lot to me. I tried real hard, and we never last year could win a race, and right at the end, everything come together, and we won that. That was the highlight of my life there so far. I was all tensed up of saying, like, okay, we're going to go green, white, checkered. All right, my key was, you know, my goal was drive just as hard as you can in the last 3 laps and don't let anybody touch that race car. And when I went in the first turn down there, I drove it just as hard as I did the first lap or racing with anybody. And when I seen the last lap, when I went through 3 and 4 and I seen that checkered flag, I think my heart just dropped.
Hey, I tell you what, I give it all I had, and I tell you what, it come out the finish. Now, thanks to y'all fans behind me, I can feel it all the way.
I mean, you totally got to be concentrated. I mean, if you get to wandering or something like that, I mean, you can wreck a race car just like that. I mean, it don't take no time, so you got to totally concentrate when you're out there the whole entire time.
It's weird, you know, you think, God, whoopee, under 5 seconds, she's not in there very long. It seems like a lot longer than that. Your mind speeds up, and it's like slow motion. It's like watching a video game. You know how you watch a video game with a big screen, and everything's coming, and, you know, the picture's moving? It's like you're sitting there, and the picture's moving. You know right, your picture's coming by you. It's like you're sitting there, and everything's shooting at you. It's not you're shooting at it. It's a neat feeling.
Win is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place.
Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. If it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it just isn't Jiffy Lube.
By now, you have a clear picture of just how serious these people take their racing. It's pretty darn serious. But none of us can live on racing alone. I have my airplanes and my dogs. And top field drag racer champion Shelly Anderson won't be insulted if you tell her her off-track hobby is for the birds.
What's your favorite? No cheese today. You weren't that good. And they love, like, scrambled eggs. So I try and make them scrambled eggs at least once a week. And they like chicken. And they like all the things people wouldn't believe birds like. But the more human food they eat, the healthier they are.
Yeah,
That's better.
A lot more hamstring and glute on this machine. That's great. Right there, we're at 70% closed.
Really?
283. There we go. Now we're getting the right kind of numbers. Last one. Here we go. Push it out.
Oh,
super. Okay. Yeah, that was nice. Good. That was a good set.
My life is pretty consumed with racing, and it really is. I mean, I love to play tennis, but I probably play half a dozen times a year.
My job is working on motorcycles, but I also have that same hobby. It's just piddling on something, working on something, just get by myself and try to get my thoughts straightened out.
He said, Daddy, I want a motorcycle. And I said, well, you got to learn to ride your bicycle first. And so I come home and come in one day, and there she was. She couldn't reach the pedals or nothing, but she'd sit on the back fender and coast off the hill. So she was about 3.5 years old, and so I got the Bonanza mini bike. They didn't have a little motorcycle like I do now. And took a saw and torch stuff, cut it all down, welded it all back, and got it down where she could straddle it. I just cranked it up and turned her loose, and she went right on about her business, just like it wasn't nothing to it.
Cows, let me guess. Yeah. I started collecting cows a couple of years ago, well, more than that. And then everywhere I go, I find something different.
I guess my favorite hobby is to go water skiing and all, and then go jet skiing. So we'll take the jet ski out in a few weeks. I can't wait till we get to do that. I'm just a plain, simple girl, I guess you'd say, or a tomboy a little bit. You know, just put my blue jeans on and go out and just piddle. But, you know, sometimes I like to dress up and do things, go out and eat and stuff. But it's just mainly just get by myself a lot.
I like doing crafts. I like to paint. And this winter, I got into making blankets.
I've seen the world, not all of it, but a good part of it, more of it than I think I had if I had played a very traditional role. And so absolutely no regrets other than, why did I start it when I was like 16 years old, you know? I know what a wrench is, and I know what what different tools are, and I know what different parts of the car are, but I'm not really a mechanic, and that really hung me up for a long time. And they finally said, Lyn, Mario Andretti doesn't work on the same car. I said, yeah, but I'm not Mario Andretti, you know, but I finally just said, look, if I want to do it, let's go do it and try.
Every once in a while, say they get me to do a little work. You know, my crew members and all the guys that work on the crew and all, they've been around me and they know that I'll do just anything. You know, if I have to help pull the motor out of the race car, or if I had to help, change the tire or whatever it takes to be ready to run that race and be ready, I'll do anything. It don't matter. I'm willing to help. I'm not just one of the type of persons that just sits around and lets those, make them do the work, and you just sit there and drive the race car.
Find someplace, and they said, some guy was, where do you fly? Where are you going? And, for work. What do you do? And I go, What for my dad? Well, what's he do? And Dad leaned over and goes, she races a car, and he started talking. And then the guy's like, no.
To make it in this game, you really need someone to share the good times and the bad times. You have to have someone not only supporting, but adding dimension to your life. St. James' husband, Roger Lessman, understands her need for speed. He's a resort developer with the dream of breaking the land speed record. Shelly Anderson has a full family support. Her brother Randy is an alcohol funny car champion, and her father Brad was a top field drag racer himself. Even her mom is a full-time crew member. And Tammy Jo Kirk, her dad's a welder, and so is she. Her mom and her two sisters are either in the pits or in the grandstand at every race.
Promotional consideration for Win is provided by Sony.
Sony ESP electronic shock protection protects your music from almost any jumps, skips, or sudden stops in the Sony Car Discman CD player.
And Stock Car Racing Magazine. Subscribe to the world's most popular racing publication at the one-year discount price of $14.97. Call toll-free 1-800-333-2633. And by Allied Signals Bendix Brakes, the best-known name in brakes. Autolite presents Force in Your Face.
Now here's why I like this show, because they let me talk about anything I want, even things I don't know anything about. For example, politics. The only thing I know about politics is the first time I went to vote, I ran out of gas, and I've never been back. You know what? I'm from a city called Yorba Linda, and let me tell you something. There's some famous people there. I was given the key to the city, and let me tell you something, so was another great man. You remember? The guy that said, let me make this perfectly clear. Well, he did, except I never understood what he said. And if he can do it, I can do it. You know, drag racing's a lot like politics. I mean, like, we hug the babies, we kiss, we do the deal. We make everybody love us. You know what, Rusty? I think I'm going to run for president. Here it is, man. Every man in America will have a job. There will be a chicken in every stew pot. And there will be a dummy like me out here, and you'll have to listen to me.
John, you don't know how many people in racing would give you anything if you ran for president. And folks, John Force will be right back up here in the stump next week. I wonder if Bill Clinton's concerned. Everyone in racing has heroes. Mine was Bobby Allison. And with this week's featured racers, there's no gender bias.
Heroes are hard for me. I think that we set ourselves up a lot by having heroes, and then you can't fulfill that, and then you find out heroes maybe aren't quite the hero that you think they are, and all that kind of stuff. Role models, influential people, you know, I'm always looking for the people who are great, the people who are successful, the people who do things the best, and that changes. So, you know, I admire and respect people, and I use them as I try to learn from them, but I don't have a list of people that I can just rattle off the top of my head and say, these are my heroes.
I'm a Dale Earnhardt fan for sure, and even back when I raced motorcycles, all these guys that I raced against, you had Jay Springsteen and, you know, and Scotty Parker and all them, you know, Jay Springsteen, I guess, was probably my hero when I was coming up in motorcycles, and then now it's Dale Earnhardt, most definitely.
I don't know about a role model, but I think the reason I have sponsors is because of Shirley Muldowney. She's a three-time world champion. She was and probably still is the only successful woman in drag racing. You've had them come and go over the time, but she won the world championship 3 years in a row, or 3 years. She made corporations look at women and say they can be successful, and I think that's why I have sponsors, is because of Shirley Muldowney.
I look up at, I guess you'd say, at a Dale Earnhardt instead of another woman driver. You know, I want to be just as good as Dale Earnhardt or Kenny Schrader, Mark Martin, any of those guys. That's who I really look up to.
I'd probably say my dad, just because I grew up with him. Jim Dunn, because he was a West Coast car, fireman's quick. You always heard, you know, Jim Dunn down at OCIR. Those are my two role models. Those are who I watched race. I just want to be perceived as a racer. I don't care about the woman part of it. That's just what I was born. I had no pick there. I don't think there's any difference in racing if you're a man or woman.
My gender is my being. I'm proud of the fact that I'm a woman, and I'm comfortable with the fact that I'm a woman. And I'm comfortable, the most comfortable place for me in the entire world is at a racetrack. So, to me, it's totally melded and, you know, it is not an issue. And I've always said the car doesn't know the difference, you know, so why don't we get on with it, you know?
I just want to be treated equal as the next driver. I don't want anything, no special treatment or nothing like that. I mean, everybody would want to be treated, you know, nice and stuff like that, but, you know, I just want to be treated equal just as another driver, but still be respected, you know, as a woman driver out there.
I think I have some people that want me to win because I'm a girl and others that don't because I'm a girl, and I don't really think others care. And
They know that I'm a woman out there and they don't want to be me, by me, and so I just accept that as, hey, you know, they know I'm there and I'm going to race with them. I want to go to Busch Grand National and then one day get into Winston Cup. I want to be competitive. That's the thing right now. I don't want to jump into something I'm not really ready for. I want to be sure that when I get there, I can run with the guys.
Tammy Jo Kirk, I'm looking forward to meeting you on the starting grid sometime. For Win, I'm Rusty Wallace.
Win is presented to you by Allied Signals Fram filter products. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Autolite spark plugs and wire and cable products. Autolite spark plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.